Hey everybody, I'm Nicole Danielle. I just wanted to say welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad that you're here. If you're not, welcome back. I'm glad that you are here hanging out with us. Today is all about history. This is, I have a 10th grader and a 5th grader this year that we are doing unit study style history. I had something completely different planned, and I was afraid, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and they can do their separate histories, but I didn't like it, and I wasn't excited about that, and I wanted my kids around my table with me. I wanted us to be able to still do all the things together that I knew that we could do, instead of being drawn away with like state standards and what you're supposed to do, and they're supposed to be in a different high school course because they're in high school now, and it feels like you lose your kids a little bit. And sorry, I'm gonna adjust a little bit. And so I wanted to pull them back in, and I wanted to have my last few years with my high schooler. He's not a fan of history anyway, so whatever history book that I would have handed him and said, here, go do, he would have skimmed through it. He would have gotten an A on a test, and he would have forgotten it. And it just, I didn't want to do that. He's not a fan of reading, and so I didn't want to be detached from him. And so we're doing American history together as a family with my 5th grader and my 10th grader. And I am surrounded by books right now, and I told you guys, I've been telling you guys that I was going to let you guys know how it was all going to play out, and today is the day that I'm letting you know how it all is going to play out. So I started, I found Gather Round, which started me off on this, I think I can do this mindset. And through those studyings and through watching different mamas on YouTube, I found Campfire Curriculums. And I must say, we have only done one unit study through Campfire Curriculums, and I want to purchase all of them because I love them so much, the way they were laid out. So we have officially finished the Indigenous Peoples unit study through Gather Round, and it was okay. We learned a lot of things, and we had a lot of great talks. And I do have notes, and I'm going to stick with them as best as I can. If you hear my children yelling in the background, this is real life. It's nighttime. They have a couple hours before bedtime, and they're playing video games, and that's just the way we do it. I'm sorry if that offends you deeply. They're my children, and it is what it is. Okay, so my plan is, we started a little later. I did not get started until like September through school, and so we've had to adjust, and then October was just kind of a mess, so you know what, it's fine. I say that to say, I figured, I planned for us to be a little bit further with the unit studies done than what we are, and we have to tweak it a little bit, and that's totally fine. So the U.S. history units that we are doing was, we did the Indigenous Peoples unit study. And should I share books too? I think I should share books too. Maybe I'll do that afterwards because it's a lot of them. Yeah, I won't be able to separate them. Okay, so I'm going to do that after. And we're reading literature throughout. And then, so the next one that we have begun is History Unit 1 through Gather Round, called A New World. And I don't have all these printed out. And I thought about printing them all out and getting them bound and like showing it all to you, but I don't have them printed out. I did not purchase them already put together. I purchased the digital versions of them because it made more sense for my family to do it that way. They are a Canadian company, and I think it's totally affordable if you want to do that, but this is more affordable for us. And so I have my son's 3-ring binder right here, and what we do is he has a history tab in his 3-ring binder, and I print off the unit studies that they're going to use, and I 3-hole punch them and put them in their binder under their history tabs, and boom, we're done. And the same thing goes for science, but we're not talking about science. Right. So it works. It works perfectly. They are able to take notes. They have notebook pages and things like that as well. So that's the way we do that. Then we will end up doing Unit 2, a Rise to Independence, which covers the 1700 through 1812. And then we live in Tennessee, so after we get done with that one, my plan is to do our Tennessee history unit study, because Tennessee was established as a nation right in between those two dates. And I will insert the website here. I have found one. I don't know if every state does this. I'm certain they do. It's a really cool Tennessee history unit page, with different like stories and different things that you can do together. And I just thought it was super important, especially for my 5th grader. My 10th grader might not get a ton out of it, but my 5th grader, it's important for 5th graders, or I guess Tennessee standards, for 5th graders to do their state history where we live. So that's what we're going to do. All of these take about 4 weeks to accomplish. And yeah, that's what I was going to say. All of these take about 4 weeks to accomplish. We took about 6 weeks to do the first one because I don't know why. Because it did. Because all the breaks, I think, maybe, what was going on in our lives. So after that, we are going to do Unit 4 of the history through Gather Round, called Growing Identity, and that is from 1816 to 1899. Then we will do Unit 5, The War and Reformation, and Unit 6, A New Era. I think that's the one that I'm most excited about because I haven't gotten my hands on a current history book through the homeschool world, and I'm really interested to see how they play in like the last 10 years of our lives and what they talk about and stuff. So that's what we are planning on doing. Just a brief overview of our history American unit, year. We are also going to do, we're going to pause. We're going to pause super soon because Thanksgiving is coming up, and I found a unit through the Campfire Curriculums that I really want to do. It's called In the Season of Thanksgiving, and it goes through what they were all doing, and I believe it's a 12-day. I believe it's 12 lessons. So that should be 3 weeks. So I think that's what it is. And I don't have that either. Campfire Curriculums, go check them out. They're incredible. It's exciting. They have 2 Thanksgiving units. We are planning on doing the one that's called In the Season of Thanksgiving. There's another one. That one is focused on the first Thanksgiving and the peoples and what happened and the celebration, the week-long thing. I haven't looked through it yet. The other one is focused on thankfulness, and you can really incorporate that into like a morning basket type situation. I actually wrote it down. It's 15 lessons long instead of 12 lessons long. We are also planning on doing Campfire Curriculums, the U.S. military unit study, and that is 12 lessons long. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate that or when I'm going to incorporate that. It'll probably be around the time of War and Reformation. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I'll stick it at before or after, but I'm definitely going to include Dad more in that one. So that'll be on his timeline a little bit more, if that makes sense. I'll make sure that we do it when his work schedule, he's home Wednesday, Thursdays, or Saturday, Sunday. So I'll make sure we do it during the month of him being home Wednesday, Thursdays, so he can actually participate and dig deeper because he's a military man, and I think he'd really enjoy that. So check all those out. It's awesome. Okay, so then I'm going to get into our literature picks, and I guess I'll do high school first because most of you are here for the high school content and not necessarily 5th grade content. So what I did was pull from the Beautiful Feet books. I pulled from our Ambleside literature picks. I don't have all the books here because, let's get real, they're probably not going to go through the ones that I already have like on their shelves ready to read and planned. I do have more history books than what you guys see here. And then The Good and the Beautiful is what my 10th grader is doing for literature, language arts, and a lot of that is U.S. history focused. So I'm just going to show you everything that he's going to read that is U.S. history focused, American history focused. Okay. Let's go ahead and start right here. I bought this. This is from the Beautiful Feet books. It's the teacher guide. It's Early American History, a literature approach for 7th through 9th grade. He's in 10th grade. It's fine. It's U.S. history. He did world geography last year. I am using this as pre-built-in questions that I can ask him for test grades, because we do have to turn in grades where I am. And this is really cool. It says the literature used in this study. I only pulled what I wanted to pull. I did not pull everything out of here. You definitely can, but that would be way too much, because this alone can be utilized alone completely. Don't need anything else. If you want to do it, it looks great. It looks fabulous if your child is an avid reader and that's what they love to do. So I just picked and chose, whatever, it doesn't matter, books for them out of this. And it's really cool. It has like rabbit trails in it and online resources, character connections, research topics, activities for handicraft suggestions, all at the very front of the book. And they have creative writing prompts and things like that. So this is kind of fabulous. It's a fabulous resource for me to use. And so here are his books that I have for him to read through. So All is Quiet on the Western Front, the greatest war novel of all time. Okay, these are not in order. I'm sorry, I could not do that for you. Fever, 1793. Uncle Tom's Cabin. This is a huge book, and again, he's not a very avid reader, and they made a movie on this. So we might watch the movie. I don't know, I'll let you know. 1984. Is that U.S. history? Probably not, but it's going in his to read pile. The Great Gatsby. Harriet, the Moses of Her People. This is from The Good and the Beautiful. The rest of these are. Into the Unknown. Patterns on the Wall. John Greenleaf Whittier. Up from Slavery. He's currently reading this one. He's also currently reading this one. Pocahontas. I have him read one book for history and one book for literature, language arts. So he's reading two simultaneously along with other things. Okay. That was, I believe all of them. He's going, I don't have the rest of them. Frederick Douglass, The Help, which is also a movie, so we'll probably watch the movie because yes. The Glass Menagerie. Oh, here's the rest of them. I was like, what? I know I have these. These I think I set aside because I'm planning on doing them as read-alouds. So this is Mary and the Trail of Tears. That's probably why they weren't in the same stack. Sojourner Truth, Ain't I a Woman? And The Kidnapped Prince. So that's in my 10th grader stack. I also have it in my 5th grader stack. So I don't know if I'll read this aloud or what. I'm not going to show it to you again. That's in my I have no idea what I'm doing yet. And I love to read aloud to my children. So we might read those aloud. Stack. You're welcome. So if these are movies, we'll probably end up watching movies and be able to like chat back and forth. He might read them, and we could do we could turn that into like an essay type paper a compare contrasting paper. So that is his, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing and how we're pulling that out. So whenever I go through the unit studies with my kids, I read them, they take notes. I'm like, hey, you should highlight that, or hey, you should write that down. That's really important. You'll probably see this on a test, that sort of thing. And then I am creating my own tests for them over what I know that we covered. They have some narration questions, they have some like true false and some matching and some whatever. And we studied the day before together as a family. We went over the test to see what they retained and some conversational pieces. And then they had the test the next day and it went great. Okay, so that is my 10th grader's stuff. That's what's happening for him for U.S. history. It will, in each of the gather round units, they have unit projects. So if we get through all of those units, which are 6 of them, I believe, through the gather round, he will end up writing or doing something, 6 unit projects, some papers, some posters, some oral presentations, that sort of thing. So it's really, it's going to be great. Underground to Canada is going to be, I'm not sure why I didn't write it down either, because this is going to be a, what's it called? It's called a novel study through Gather Round. And once we hit slavery and the Trail of Tears in that segment of our history, we are pausing and we are doing the novel study of this through Gather Round. And that'll be a big novel study. Sorry, I forgot to include that. I hope you didn't click off that if you're still here for 10th grade. My bad. So yeah, so whenever we hit that part in history, we will do that and we will read about Harriet Tubman and we will read about the other ladies that were instrumental in that. Okay, so now for 5th grade literature. The Sign of the Beaver. Okay. Children of the Longhouse. He's really enjoying this book. That was a Beautiful Feet book pick. Hiawatha and the Peacemaker. This is going to be a read aloud this week. This week is when I'm going to start with this one. Harriet Tubman. The Conductor of the Underground Railroad. The Singing Tree. Okay. He is also going to read, which I do not see in my stack, Amos Fortune Freeman. I believe that's what it's called. And then we're writing the Constitution. I'm sorry, I didn't pull those. And then I purchased a lot of things from the Good and the Beautiful library. I love their books. They're classics. They are forgotten texts that she has pulled back into print and cleaned up the language and things like that, which I appreciate it in some instances. And some instances I'm like, please stop erasing history, that sort of thing. So this one's Judy. This is a 5th grade or 5th level book. Johnny McKee and the Big Flood. That is a 4th level book. Prudy at Meadows Farm, a 4th level book. Cherokee Run, a 5th level book. Jane and Henry, World War II, 5th level book. Susie and Lizzie, it's a box set. One's Susie, one's Lizzie. It's a 5th level book. Gold Mountain, a 4th level book. Baldy, The American Eagle. He needs to actually start reading this. I need to set that aside because we just went over the Bald Eagle. Over the Hills to Nugget. That's a really weird title, is it not? That's a 4th level book. You're welcome. We are also going to utilize this book, George Washington's World. This is actually in the 9th grader book. And our Ambleside has us reading it this grade, like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So that's really interesting. I don't know how we're going to use this. I don't think I'll be reading it aloud. It's a big book. And then last but not least, Men of the Mississippi. Those are just most of the literature picks. If my kids get through those books, I'll be shocked and impressed and give them a big fat reward. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're using it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I just wanted to say again that you can do unit studies for your high schoolers. You don't have to put them into this box curriculum or this online this or this whatever, and you don't have to be afraid to do history with your children, and you can make it you know what, I don't even have to try to make it, because for the Gather Round units, it has a high school pack, so it's like it's written for the high schoolers or for the elementary or for all, you know, your whole family, which I really appreciate. And you can make it harder if you need it harder, and you can make it easier if your child needs it easier, and it's beautiful. I'm so glad that I took the plunge and that I didn't do what I was planning on doing. We also have some games. We have Race Across the USA. We have another, what's it called? It's right in front of me. Okay. We have Race Across the USA, which is kind of fun. We haven't played that this year yet. We played that a lot last year. That's a lot of fun. And then Snapshots Across America, which is pretty cool because you get to learn U.S. history through it, right? I have some like flashcards of them learning states and going over the presidents. That's in our morning basket. And I just purchased a game. Oh, what's it called? I don't remember what it was called. I haven't played it yet. It just came in the mail. I don't know. Let me check. Okay, I had to get on my Amazon account to like see what the game was called instead of going downstairs. It's called A Ticket to Ride. I don't know if you guys have ever played it before. I've had a lot of friends that recommended it, so we purchased that, and there's like tons of different ones that you can purchase, so that was really cool. So on days that we just don't want to do school, we can play games, which is amazing, and yes, you can still do that. Okay, well that's it. I'm going to leave it right there. And if you guys have any questions, please drop them below. If you think of anything that I like am a crazy person and I missed out or something like that, whatever, just let me know. I would love to conversate with you guys. I would love this to be a dialogue instead of a monologue all the time. Are you afraid to do unit studies? Because you don't have to be, and you can pull them all together just like I am. And whatever you're doing, I hope you're having fun doing it. And Abba willing, I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.